Can I have pin drop silence, please? Okay, so today's class is all about data handling. Online children? Yeah, good morning. Good morning, all of you. Good morning, online children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So today's session is about data handling. It's all about line graphs, linear graphs, bar graphs, and we'll also understand what a Cartesian system is or a Cartesian plane. Cartesian system, Cartesian plane. Yeah, we'll be discussing all this in today's session. Line graph, linear graph, Cartesian system, bar graphs. Okay. Not in the same order. So we'll see all this in the class today. All right. Let me start with the Cartesian system. In the Cartesian system, we have something called the Cartesian plane. Okay, so this is the person. I'm not sure about the pronunciation because I'm not sure if he's a French person or whatever, but this is the name of the person who came out with the system called Cartesian system. So you can see this here. That's why it's called the Cartesian system. Okay, so you can Google and check, how it's pronounced. I don't want to mispronounce now. So this is what it's this person who came up with the Cartesian system. Now, why Cartesian system or what is this Cartesian plane? Now, supposing there's a point. Am I audible, online children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, supposing there's a point here, okay, and you want to give, so like all our houses have addresses, right? So how do you receive parcels or how do you receive your parcels delivered to your house correctly? Because every house has a unique address. No two houses have the same address, right? And that's how things are delivered to you. So in the same way, on a plane surface, when there's a point, that point should have an address. Otherwise, you will say, no, no, not that point. No, no, this point. No, below, above. No, no, little left, little right. Okay, so you cannot, okay, you cannot say, yeah, correct, correct. Slowly go close, close, close. No, you cannot say that, right? So you need to have every point on a plane surface or on a plane should have a unique address. And that's how this person came out with the Cartesian system. So the Cartesian system helps us to give an address, for every point on a plane. So if you take this point has an address. This point, it has an address. This point has an address. Now this one, the board or the laptop screen is a plane surface, right? So on this plane surface, I mark a point anywhere. Every point has a unique address. Okay. And so like how, we have different places. So like in Trichy, we have Sri Rangam, we have Tilanagar, we have cantonment. So first the entire area is divided into many smaller areas. And then in that area, you will have crossroads like first cross, second cross, third cross, whatever. So like that. So in the same way, to, give the address of any point on a plane surface, we need to divide the plane into 4 quadrants. 4 quadrants. See, your address is not door number 57, Trichy. Door number 57, Trichy is so difficult to find. So, yeah. So, the entire area is broken down into many sub areas, like I mentioned, some few areas. And then in that area, you will have some crossroads and then further like that. Okay. So, that's how that makes it easier. In the same way here, to write the address of any point on a plane, we need to divide the plane into 4 quadrants by using 2 lines. Okay, the horizontal line, which is called the x-axis, and the vertical line, which is called the y-axis. See, it's like this. So it's like this. See, It's a line. So it's not that it stops. It's a line, right? It's a line. So use arrows. Correct? It's a line. The horizontal line is called the x-axis. Okay, it's marked x dash. This line is x dash. And the vertical line is called the y-axis, which is y dash. Okay, y dash. And the point where the x-axis and the y-axis meet is called the origin. It's called the origin, represented by the letter O, not 0, O. Listen. Okay, O. So the sleeping or the horizontal line is the x-axis. Horizontal line, x-axis. Vertical, standing line, vertical line, y-axis. X dash, y dash. They are not line segments, they are lines. They are not line segments. They don't start and end somewhere. They don't have any starting point, no ending point also. From where it starts, it ends. Because it's a line. Okay. Now, these lines are graduated. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5 units. Meaning it's not 1 centimeter or 2 centimeter. We'll be using a graph paper where every square is a 1 by 1 square, 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter square. The graph paper which we use, okay, there the squares are 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. But anyway, this one doesn't carry any unit. It's 1 unit. So you can make it wider also, like you can mark 1 here and 2 here also. Okay, it's just unit. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it goes on like that. And similarly here, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, it goes on like that. So OX is the positive side of the x-axis. OX dash is the negative side of the x-axis. OX is the positive side of the x-axis. OX dash is the negative side of the x-axis. OY is the positive side of the y-axis. OY is the positive side of the y-axis. OY dash is a negative side of the y-axis. And as we understood, the x-axis and the y-axis, they intersect at this point O, which is called the origin. Origin. All right. Now, so supposing you mark a point here. You mark a point here. See, you might have already learned it, but listen as if you don't know anything. So there might be something which you didn't know and you're getting it from this class. So even if you've learned it in school, just listen as if you don't know anything about this chapter. Only then you can receive what I'm saying. And then you will realize that, yes, yeah, I have learned something new, which I didn't know. So always, when somebody is telling you something which you already know, if you're sitting with the mindset that, oh, all this I've learned in school, let her teach say something new, then I'll start listening. Don't waste your time like that. Listen as if you don't know at all. So now this point, okay. Now, how do we, so the address of a point in the Cartesian plane is called an ordered pair. The address of every point in the Cartesian plane is called an ordered pair. Ordered pair. Ordered pair because, so you write the address in brackets like this. You will have one value here, comma, one value here. What is this value? This is the distance of the point from the y-axis, and this is the distance of the point from the x-axis. The perpendicular, so we have a point. Now, what are we supposed to do? We have a point, and we're supposed to give the address of this point in the Cartesian plane. Okay, so for that, you're going to give the address using an ordered pair. Why pair? Because 2 numbers. Why ordered pair? Because the order is important. The order is important. Now, what comes in the first blank? The distance of the point from the y-axis to be filled here, and the distance of the point from the x-axis to be filled here. Distance is always perpendicular distance in mathematics. When we say distance, it's always perpendicular distance. Okay, so we have this point here. Let's call it A. So we have a point A in the Cartesian plane. This is the distance of the point from the y-axis. This line segment, I'm not saying this number, don't mistake. I'm not saying this number. I'm saying this line segment. Okay, let me come again. What is the distance of this point from the y-axis? It's from here to here, right? So that means the length of this line segment. The length, I'm not saying 4. The length of this line segment is the distance of the point from the y-axis. I've always seen year after year, children slightly they get confused. Don't get confused. Because it points to 4, no? So not that. So this is the distance of point A from the y-axis. And what is the length of this line segment? It's here, 2 units. It's not 4, it's 2 units here. This is 2 units. This is 2 units. What is the perpendicular distance of this point from the x-axis? From the x-axis, no, from here to here. Perpendicular distance, straight. Straight up. Straight up. 4. So what is the length of this line segment? This is a rectangle, opposite sides are equal. So if this is 4, this is also 4 units. This is 4 units. So the point, show the perpendicular distance of the point using line segments, show the perpendicular distance of the point from the y-axis and the x-axis. So since opposite sides are, you get a rectangle and you know opposite sides are equal. So this is 2, so this is 2, and this is 4, so this is 4. Now the address of this point is the distance from the y-axis first. What's the distance from the y-axis? Yeah, now Navneet, what's the distance from the y-axis? 2 units. What's the distance from the x-axis? 4 units. 2, 4 is the address of this point. 2, 4 is the address of this point. So it's like you write what you see on the x-axis, you write that first. What you see on the x-axis too, you should write that first. And then what you see on the y-axis, 4. So 2, 4, that's how you write. What you see on the x-axis is number 2 first, and then this 4. But what is the meaning of 2 and 4? 2 is the distance. 2 units is the distance of the point from the y-axis. 4 units is the distance of the point from the x-axis. So you should, like practice this at home. How to write the address? The number you see on the x-axis 2, then the number you see on the y-axis 4, 2, 4. That's how you write the address. X-axis number you should write first, y-axis number you should write next. Okay, 2, 4 is the address of this point. But what's the meaning of 2? 2 is the perpendicular distance of the point A from the, not x-axis, y-axis. And 4 is the perpendicular distance of the point from the x-axis. Should say y-axis distance first and then x-axis distance. So now that's how it is. So if I mark a point here, B, the address of this point will be C on the x-axis first. It's -4. See, like, can you see? Now you understand, right? And then C on the y-axis, -3. So the address of this point is -4. First, the x-axis number you write, and then you write the y-axis number. The point is here, no? So if you have to make the rectangle, see like this, it will be like this. Okay, this is a rectangle. Now you should write the number on the x-axis first, so -4. Then the number on the y-axis, -3. So the address of the point B is -4, -3. -4, -3 is different from -3, -4. That's why ordered pair. Only if the x and y values are the same. So if it's like if the address is 5, 5, then yeah, even if you exchange the numbers, it's still 5, 5. Okay, otherwise x, y is not equal to y, x. The address is different. Because -3, -4 is, this is -3 and this is -4. So -3, -4 is somewhere here. The -3, -4 somewhere here. This is -3. See, -3, -4. Write the x value first, -3, then -4. You when I'm showing that, you understand, right? All of you. See this one, this point, -3, minus 4. X value first, meaning x-axis value first and then the y-axis value. So if this is C, it's minus 3 comma minus 4. This point C is minus 3 comma minus 4. But what is the meaning of minus 3? The minus 3 meaning on the negative side. So distance is always positive. Distance is always positive. Why minus 3? Because it's on the negative side. It's on the negative side of the axis, minus 3 and minus 4. So minus 3 is the distance of the point from the y-axis. Minus 4 is the distance of the point from the x-axis. You can see that here. See here. So this is the distance from the x-axis. This one is the distance from the x-axis. Sorry, y-axis. This is the So what is this? This is the y-axis. This is the y-axis, right? So this is the distance. This is the y-axis. So this is the distance from the y-axis. How much is this? This one. 3 units. This is the distance from the y-axis. And what is this? Distance from the x-axis. See here. 4 units. All right. Okay. Now the Cartesian plane, the x-axis and the y-axis, they divide the Cartesian plane into 4 quadrants. This is called the first quadrant. This is the second quadrant. This is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. The order is important. We cannot change the order. Okay. The x-axis and the y-axis divide the Cartesian plane into 4 quadrants. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. Now, a point, Sahasra and Hasmi.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Yeah. You can see my screen and I'm audible and everything is clear so far. Any questions?
Ma'am, I understand the origin.
Origin.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to know the address of the origin?
Yes, ma'am.
0, 0. Because there is no distance at all, right? What is the distance from the y-axis? There's no distance from the y-axis. There's no distance from the x-axis. So the address of the origin is 0, 0. O given by 0, 0. This is the letter O given by the address 0, 0, not O or 0, 0, 0. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This point is referred by the letter. This is okay. 1 minute. This one is origin. I said when I was explaining. So this is 0. This point is 0, 0. And when you, of course, write, we have come ahead. So now this is when I wrote the when I drew the x-axis and y-axis, I showed the junction as O, which is the origin. When you're marking the numbers, yes, this is 0. That's not about this position is 0. This is 1. This is minus 1. This is 0. This is the origin also. Now, how do you mark that? This is the origin O given by the address 0, 0. This is the number O, that graduation marking. And also this is the origin, which is given by the address 0, 0. This is O. All right. So the Cartesian plane is, sorry, the two axes, the x-axis and the y-axis. Axis is plural. This is, I'm sorry, this is singular. X-axis, y-axis. This is singular. Okay, the coordinate axis. This is plural. ES is plural. X-axis is XX dash. Y-axis is YY dash. Coordinate axis. Not much difference with the pronunciation. Yeah, but if you see the spelling coordinate axis, then it is the x-axis and the y-axis together. X-axis and y-axis together, they form the coordinate axis. All right. And this topic is called coordinate geometry. We learn it as data handling. We see it under data handling in 8th standard, but this one is a topic in 9th standard and also 10th standard, which is coordinate geometry. That's why coordinate axis. Because x coordinate, y coordinate. The first one is called the x coordinate. So 4, 5. This one is called the x coordinate. This one is called the y coordinate. The x coordinate is also called the abscissa. And the y coordinate may be useful for 1 mark, is called the ordinate itself. Simply ordinate. The first number is called the abscissa. The first number is called the abscissa. The second number is called the ordinate. Then how do you spell scissor? S-C-I-S-S-O-R, scissor, right? Like that, abscissa, abscissa. Like you spell scissor, okay? So, not your abs. Okay. Okay. Now Navneet will continue on that. If I start, then Navneet will proceed. He knows next how to prepare the class. Okay, sorry, because he coincidentally did that when he was checking his abs. Okay. Fine, boys, settle. Yeah, so what is it? So why coordinate geometry, or why this Cartesian system? To write or to have an address for every point on a plane. Why coordinate geometry? Why? Okay, why coordinate geometry? Why Cartesian plane or the Cartesian system? Is to have an address for every point on a plane. Okay, so what are the two lines called? The x-axis and y-axis. X dash, y dash. Where do they meet? Origin. Given by the letter O. Given by the address 0, 0. And the two lines, the x-axis and the y-axis, they divide the Cartesian plane, the plane surface, the Cartesian plane into 4 quadrants. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. And the address is called an ordered pair. The address of every point is called an ordered pair because the order is important. The first number is the distance of the point. The first number is the distance of the point from the y-axis. The second point or the second number is the distance of the point from the x-axis. The first number is called the x coordinate. The second number is called the y coordinate. X coordinate is also called the abscissa. And the y coordinate is also called the ordinate. Okay, ordinate. And now supposing we have to write the address of this point. Whatever number you see on the x-axis, what do you see on the x-axis? The address of this point. What's the number you see on the x-axis? 2. Write that first. Then what is the number you see on the y-axis? -3. 2 comma minus 3. Don't get confused with that. Whatever number that this point points to this number on the x-axis, right? That first. And this point points to this number on the y-axis, right? That next. But the meanings are different. That's all. So you practice that at home. Oh, yeah, sure. I think I've not missed on anything. In case I have missed on something, I'll just come back to it later. I think I've told you all that you need to know for 8th standard. Turn on that fan. That fan, okay, sit on. The fan, no, get in London. The fan. Okay, fine. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, I'll share the notes later, children, so don't worry. You don't have to write anything. Now, maybe if I forgot to say something, then it is this is the first quadrant. Here, all the points, the x coordinate is positive, the y coordinate is also positive. Second, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quite. -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. Quite boys. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know this. Okay. So the address of every point in the first quadrant, the address of every, when I say address, it is both the ordered pair I'm saying. I'm talking about the ordered pair. Both the numbers will be positive in the first quadrant. In the second quadrant, you can see the x values are negative, no? So minus, comma, the y values are positive. So minus, comma, plus. In the third quadrant, see the x-axis. It's the negative. In the third quadrant, what do you see? In the third quadrant, you see the negative side of the x-axis and the negative side of the y-axis. And what do you see in the fourth quadrant? You see the positive side of the x-axis and the negative side of the y-axis. So if you're asked, where in which quadrant does this point lie? Which quadrant does this point lie? In the fourth quadrant. 4 comma minus 5 lies in the fourth quadrant because plus minus. Where does the point -5 comma 4 lie? Second quadrant. Second. So -5 comma 4 lies in the second quadrant because minus plus. Minus plus. So second quadrant. Where does the point -7/2 comma -3/2 lie? Third quadrant because both are negative. Both are negative. You understand this, all of you? Now, where is the point? No, you know, actually. Okay. Now, where does this point lie? Where does the point y 4 comma 0 lie? Online children. 4, 0. Ma'am, 2. Oh. Ma'am, quadrant 2, ma'am. Ma'am. X-axis. Who said that? Very good. It lies on the x-axis. It does not lie in any quadrant, which means on the in the Cartesian plane, there are not just 4 quadrants as positions. There are 6 positions. A point can lie in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, or the point can lie on the x-axis, on the y-axis. These are the 6 different positions in the Cartesian plane. We think there are only 4 positions in the Cartesian plane. It can lie in the first, second, third, or fourth quadrant. There's no other position. No. In fact, there's one more, which is the origin. The origin is on the x-axis and the y-axis. So it's origin. 0, 0 is at the origin. You cannot say 0, 0 lies on the x-axis, y-axis. It lies on both the axes. So where does 0, 0 lie? On the x-axis? No. It lies on the x-axis, but not only on the x-axis. On the y-axis? Yes, but no also. Because it lies on the x and y axis. So where does it lie? It lies at the origin. It has a special name called the origin. So first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, x axis, y axis, origin. So where do you mark 4, 0? This is 4. And 0 means you should not move there only. This is 4, 0. See, this is 4. This is 4. The first number is x-axis number. That first number is x-axis number. So 4 is here. See, if it's 4, 1, you will go up here. 4, 1 means 4, 1, you will go up here. It's 4, 0. So don't move 4 and don't move 0. So this is 4, 0. It is 0 on y-axis. Where is 0 on the y-axis here? No. What is the first number? X-axis number. What's the second number? Y-axis number. 4, 0. X-axis number is 4. So here it is. Y-axis number is 0. Where is 0? Here only, no? So here. Now where is 0, minus 3? 0, minus 3. 0 is x-axis number. And minus 3 is y-axis number. So 0 and minus 3 on the y-axis. So this is 0, minus 3. Because minus 3 is y-axis number. Minus 3 is the y-axis number. So down it is. And x is 0. So this is 0. This is 0. 0 minus 3. So this one is 0. Sorry, this one is minus 5 because x value is minus 5. Then 0. X value is minus 5. Then 0. Then this one will be x value 0. And y is 4. On the y-axis, it is 4. So 0, 4 lies on the positive side of the y-axis. 0, minus 3 lies on the negative side of the y-axis, or you can simply say y-axis also. 4, 0 lies on the x-axis or the positive side of the x-axis. Minus 5, 0 lies on the x-axis or on the negative side of the x-axis. So a point can lie in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, x-axis, y-axis, and origin. All right. So now, so questions can be like, they'll ask you to plot 4 points and then ask you to, okay, we are not doing, in today's class, we're not doing that. Maybe I'll give that as homework. So you'll be asked to plot 3 points or 4 points. So 3 points, name the figure. So mostly it should be a triangle or it will be a, when you, okay, I think I'm too fast. Now, supposing we are given the address of 3 points, okay, A, B, C. Okay, you plot them. You're given 3 points, A, B, C. So you plot A here, then say B somewhere here, and C is here, like say. Okay, so they'll ask you, what is the connect join A, B, and C? So when you join A, B, and C, if you're able to join them by the same straight line, then the points A, B, C are collinear. if you are able to join A, B, and C by the same straight line, then the points are collinear. Collinear, collinear. Can you see line here? Line, meaning they lie on the same line. Co meaning, like you say, co-passengers, co-passengers. So like co-linear, they all lie on the same line, no? So co-linear. Linear means on a line. Collinear. So the points A, B, so you'll be given A something, B something, C something, you'll plot. Then if you're able, then they'll say join the points. All instructions will be given. Now what do you observe? We observe that the points A, B, and C are collinear. Now supposing supposing the point C lies here. Join A, B, and join the points. What do you observe? Very good. It forms a triangle. Join this also. It forms a triangle. So when you have 3 points, either the 3 points are collinear or they'll form a triangle. There's nothing else between these two. When you have 3 points in a plane, either you should be able to join all the 3 points by the same straight line. That means they're collinear. Either the points are collinear or a triangle is formed. இதுக்கு நடுவுல வேற எதுவும் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் இல்ல. No other option. So this should be your conclusion. So when you're asked to plot 3 points, join, what do you observe? What do you observe? We observe that the points are collinear or triangle ABC is formed or triangle PQR is formed. If they have not marked the points, like, you can give names ABC, PQR, XYZ, you can name the points. Only then you can write. Sometimes you will be asked to mark 4 points, join. So you can make out, if it's a square or rectangle, you can make out that. I'll not explain that. You will be able to make out. You should count. Should count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count this and count this one. You can make out what scale challenge பாருங்க. அப்படி பண்ணக்கூடாது. கவுண்ட் பண்ண எவ்வளோ கேப்ஸ் இருக்குன்னு. So 7 units, 6 units na rectangle. ரெண்டு ஒண்ணா இருந்தா square. Sometimes you can have trapeziums. So all that is left to you. Now you know what a trapezium is. So you must be able to say when you join the 4 points, you get a trapezium or you get a parallelogram, rectangle, square, kite, all the shapes from the chapter Understanding Quadrilaterals. Can yeah. Today only. This is a Cartesian plane, so 3D here. So that you'll be learning later in 11th standard. You will teach me. Yeah. So that is either finding the address of a point in the space. Finding the address of a point in the space. This is on a plane surface. So அதுக்கு வந்து length இருக்கும், breadth இருக்கும், height இருக்கும். So you will have 3 values to give the address of a point in the space. That I'll learn from you all. Okay. So when you join 4 points, it can be a kite, trapezium, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, square. You should be able to identify that. அவ்வளவுதான், வேற ஒன்றும் இல்லை. கார்ட்டீசியன் coordinate geometry இவ்வளவுதான் இருக்கு. That's all you need for 8th standard. All right. Anything else you want to ask? You've learned in school, so any other question? Online children?
Yes, ma'am.
No, all right. I just touched on some setting. I'm audible, right, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now we'll be we'll discuss a set of questions on line and linear graphs and bar graphs. I'll finish my part and then you will prepare the graphs in the class. Okay. All right. Look at this question. What do you see here? It's a circle graph or a pie chart. Pie chart or a circle graph. Okay. Uh, draw a bar graph. So here, draw a bar graph for the pie chart. We have a pie chart given. That's a question. Pie chart is a question. You should convert this to a bar graph. Given a picture, you should make another picture. So you're given a pie chart. From this, you should make a bar graph. So how do we do that? You understand, right? This is England. In this England, this is India. This is Australia. This one is Pakistan. This one is South Africa. And this color is New Zealand. All right. This is what is not, okay for me. Okay. No, because the colors are very faint. That's why I'm saying it starts here. England. This is England and this is India. So you understand this is Australia. And it goes like that. Okay. So now how do we make a bar graph? Correct. So I've got it here. So you can see here, these are called the central angles, right? What are they called? The central angles. The central angle for England, quite the central angle for England is 108. The central angle for India is 90 degrees. The central angle for Australia is 54 degrees. So how many students are there in all? 600. And which team has the maximum number of students? England. England has the maximum number of students because you can make out from the central angle, 108 degrees. 108 degrees. That's the highest among the angles here. That means the England team has more number of students. England team has more number of students because the central angle is the greatest, followed by India. Okay, India has the next largest number of students in the cricket team. Goes on like that. And these have the least, these three. These three have the least. Okay. So now how do we make the bar graph? Okay, so 108 degrees is the central angle for England team by 360 into 600. 108 degrees out of a total of 360 degrees into 600. So like this, you should calculate the number of students in every team. 180 students in England team, 150 Indian team, 90 students in the Australian team, and so on. Okay, now using this, you should make a bar graph. Using this, you should make a bar graph. You should not make the bar graph using the central angles. You must convert the central angles to number of students. Number of students in the Indian team, number of students in the Indian team, and so on. Okay, and then, yeah, you can see here. Bar graph showing the number of students in the in 6. See, actually, I just made the presentation in a hurry. Okay, so you should see, this is the question. This is the question. You must work this and then make the bar graph. And then make the bar graph. This is the answer. This you make work this and then this graph. Okay, I'll just zoom the graph. Okay, the varkudada.
Supports to put like number of students in the English team who supports parents. Yeah.
No. What should I remove from this?
Number of
Everyone should remove the, is it?
In the means you are in the team. And the students supporting this.
Okay, I should remove the from everything, is it? I'll take your English from you later. Now, what should I remove from this?
In the
Number of students, England team.
number of students who support.
Why who support?
Ma'am, because it means that
Now, children, no, okay, you write that in your book.
the students
I don't get you actually. I don't get you. Anyways.
not playing. Yeah, I'm not playing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but they're not okay. But this is that's what is given there, right?
No,
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
there are not 180 people in the England team.
Yeah. Oh, fine. I was just yeah. I see that. It's okay. I can embrace failures also. As much as I embrace success. ICSE. That's what we learn in ICSE. Okay. Bar graph showing the you need to title your bar graph. Okay, anyways, but thanks. I never realized that. That's your school classroom. You should do it now. Okay. Bar graph showing the number of students in the 6 favorite cricket teams. That's a title. And then you know what you have to do, right? Should I explain this? Favorite cricket team along the x-axis, number of students along the y-axis. See the numbers. These are the numbers 180, 160, 90, 60, 60, 60. So I've taken a scale of 20. 1 centimeter is 20 students. 130. Yeah, you can take 30. It will just become smaller. Your rectangle will be a little smaller. Rectangle should not be very small, very big also. Should not be very, like when you take 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe rectangles are very tall. It shouldn't be the size of your graph paper. You shouldn't have a very tall rectangle. Shouldn't be very short also. You should not have a stunted rectangle, like all small ones. So, 30, yeah? 30 is 10, no. You'll get marks though. You'll get marks. Yeah, not time like you.
Look neat.
It's how you perceive. If you feel why not 10, then I really cannot answer that. I can only say that the rectangle should not be very tall or very short, very stunted, small rectangle. Choose your scale accordingly. So now it is left to your perception. If you feel this is stunted, all are so small. I don't know. So I have taken a scale of 1 centimeter, 20 units. Okay, so I feel this is ideal. I wouldn't go for 30. I wouldn't go for 10 also because 10 will be too. I think 180 will be very tall. So I won't go for 10. 30, I think 20 is ideal. For me, I think 20 is ideal. So I went with 20. Because children are smart, so I don't know. So I'll save myself like that. So if you give 30, it looks good, fine. This is how you put up a bar graph. No two rectangles will stick to each other. There's equal spacing between the rectangles. Okay. I just made it in Ari, so it's not really, very.
Create time.
Huh?
It look like create time to see.
Yeah. So this one is a line graph. Now the difference between a line graph and a linear graph. Okay, line graph and linear graph. When the points you plot, you can connect them by a same straight line. Then it's a linear graph. If when you connect and they are broken lines like this, it's a line graph. Now when will you get a linear graph? When the quantity,
Uniform.
yeah, when the quantity along the x-axis and the y-axis, they vary directly. Like you buy 1 kg of mangoes, 30 rupees. 2 kgs of mangoes, 60 rupees. 3 kgs of mangoes, 90 rupees. So the quantity purchased and the money you spend are directly proportional. 130, 260, 390, 4, 120. When you plot these points and 0 kgs, 0 rupees. So this graph will start from the origin 0, 0, 0, 0, then 130, 260, 390. It will be linear. Why is it linear? Because the quantity along the x-axis and the quantity along the y-axis, they vary directly. Less, more. Less kgs, less money, more kgs, more money, right? Then you'll get a linear graph. Line graph is like the way you study. When you start studying the first hour, you study, like with full interest. So you finish 10 pages in the first hour. Second hour, 2 pages. Then third hour, no, you sleep. You don't study at all in the third hour. Then fourth hour, something like that. So not all of us, but I'm just saying just to explain. So student study plan for the day, when it's a holiday. First hour, how much you study, how many pages, second hour, third hour. So that's not going to be linear. With the increasing hours, you're not going to study more like first hour 10 pages, second hour 20 pages, third hour 30 pages. No.
But not linear.
So then that will be a line graph. Okay. So nothing much in this. So you just have to pause. So time, you should take the quantity time along the x-axis and distance along the y-axis. So see how it's written. Well, everything is given there. Everything is given there. It's only about the scale. What should I mark on the x-axis? What should I mark on the y-axis? It's only that. What to mark? Okay, what to mark? See time. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do the same thing. And what's the distance here? 1, 2.53 till 9. So I think you can take one itself. You don't have to mark 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All values are small only. What's the maximum value? 9. On the y-axis, what's the maximum value? 9. On the x-axis, 7. So you shouldn't mark 5, 10, 15, 20. And you should not mark 2, 4, 6, 8 also. The numbers, the maximum numbers on the x-axis and y-axis, they're very small, right? 7 and 9. So you 1, 2, 3, 4 ne graduate from. The marking should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on both the axes. So see here the scale, very important. See, this is very important. When I think even now all this carries marks. So scale, you should write the scale, and then everything you see here is mandatory. Whatever you see on the graph here is all compulsory. Everything carries marks. The graph should have a title. That's very important. It's like you cover your book, you label it, but you don't write your name on it. What's the point? Okay. So it's like that. You make the graph, but what is the graph about? You should give a title. What is on the x-axis? Time in minutes. What's on the y-axis? Distance in kilometers. And what is it? 1, 2, 3? Why you have taken 1, 2, 3? What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the x-axis, you have taken 1 centimeters, 1 minute. Why minute? Because time in minutes, right? So 1 minute. Y-axis is distance in kilometers. So y-axis, why 1 centimeter we are writing? Because it's a centimeter graph. This one you measure with your scale, it is 1 centimeter. This is 1 centimeter. So scale, you should write x-axis always you should write 1 centimeter is equal to, always. X-axis, y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to, always. So 1 centimeter is equal to what in this graph? Here it is equal to 1 minute, 1 minute. And here it's equal to 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer. If you mark 2, 4, 6, 8, you should say 2 kilometers. If you mark 5, 10, 15, 20, 5 kilometers. Every 1 centimeter represents 5 kilometers. Like 10, 15. Between 10 and 15, the distance is 1 centimeter. Between 10 and 15, the distance is 1 centimeter. That 1 centimeter is 5 kilometers. So the scale is important. And finally, you're plotting. So some teachers would like you to write here, like what you have plotted in. So that you should. Now this one, what is this? They might expect you to write. So if your teacher wants you to write that, I thought it'll become too congested, so I didn't write what these points are, and you should not join. I went wrong while joining, so I just, you can see here, don't do that. Graph should be very neat. So if your teacher expects you to write the points, then you please. So you need to have the knowledge of coordinate geometry to plot these points. I haven't shown the negative sides. Why? Because you don't, it's time and distance. Nothing is going to be negative here. When should you show the negative side of the x-axis and y-axis? Only when you have to plot something on that side also. Otherwise, you don't have to show. For line linear graph, you don't have to show the negative side of the x and y axis. This is enough. Only the first quadrant is enough. Here you, 1 second. Here you see only the first quadrant. Here you see only the first quadrant. Doesn't mean that second, third, fourth இல்ல இதெல்லாம் lines தானே ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணா அதெல்லாம் தெரியும். பட் நமக்கு அந்த quadrants தேவையில்லை, அதனால நமக்கு காமிக்கல அவ்வளவுதான். Here we have shown only the first quadrant. So the only thing that may be missing according to your teacher is you should write the points which you have plotted. So please write that, your teacher says. Yeah. Now how to plot, I think you know. So 1, 1. So like 1 on the x-axis, 1 on the, see this is 1 on the x-axis and this is 1 on the y-axis. So wherever, so when you, the intersection of those 2 points, 1, 1, marking 1 on the x-axis, marking 1 on the y-axis. 2, 2.5. This is 2 and this is 2.5. This is the marking 2 on the x-axis. Between 2 and 3, this is the marking 2.5 on the y-axis, where these two meet. That's the point. 3, 3. This is 3. This is 3 on the x-axis. This is 3, sorry, on the y-axis. This is 3 on the x-axis. Where they meet, here's the point. Here they meet, no? That's the point. So you know how to plot? So like this, you'll have to plot and join. 7, 9. 7 on the x-axis and 9 on the y-axis. So where do they meet? That's a point. All right. So this is a line graph. Line graph because it's not a straight line. It's not a linear graph. No, it's not a straight line. So it's a line graph. And for exceeds, okay. So this is line graph. Yeah. Now this one is a double line graph. Okay. I hope, and actually I didn't have a different color. So this one is actually, they look similar, children, but this is black, okay? And this is blue. They look similar. That's what I should have used a pencil at least, but I was just doing it in a hurry and I should have done it with a pencil. Then later I realized, then I used a pencil. So please, you should not do this, okay? Or you can use dotted lines, broken lines, dotted lines for one and, straight lines for the other. Or better, you can use different colors. Join both using different colors. And எப்பயுமே எல்லா பாயிண்ட்ஸும் பிளாட் பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் ஜாயின் பண்ணக்கூடாது. எதை ஜாயின் பண்ணணும் தெரியாது. அப்புறம் ஒரு லைன் கிராஃப் பிளாட் பண்ணிட்டு அதை ஜாயின் பண்ணிடணும். அப்புறம் தான் அடுத்ததை பிளாட் பண்ணணும். எல்லா பாயிண்ட்ஸும் பிளாட் பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் ஜாயின் பண்ணக்கூடாது. Okay. So on the x-axis, you can see Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have written Friday, Saturday also, so don't worry. This is Sunday. So this is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Y-axis on it is the time in hours. Okay, so one represents play time, the other represents study time. One represents play time, the other one represents study time. So you're going to draw a double line graph. That is two line graphs on the same graph paper, on the same quadrant. Again, we need only the first quadrant, so you can see only the first quadrant here. Correct? It's just about plotting. So Sunday, it's 3. Sunday. I'm doing the study in this one, I'm doing this one. Sunday 3. Monday 6. Monday 6. Tuesday 4. Tuesday 4. Wednesday 5. Wednesday 5. Thursday 6. Thursday 6. So join. இது plot பண்ணிட்டு உடனே join பண்ணணும். Alright? அதுக்கப்புறம் play time வந்து Sunday 5. Sunday 5. Sunday 5. Monday 4. Monday 4. Tuesday 3. Tuesday 3. Wednesday 2. And Thursday 4. Then join. Right? Easy. Scale you can see. You should not take 2, 4, 6, 8 because numbers, numbers, consider all the numbers given here. Consider the numbers. Maximum is 6. So don't mark 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 5, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will do good. And then actually again, either color, you should mention either study time, either play time. Both looks blue. So this one is, if I use a yellow here, then I should say yellow the study time and this one is play time. That's very important. That's called the key. So when you have two graphs on the same paper, you should mention what is what. So this is extra here. Key, study time, play time. Anything else? This is the heading, study time versus play time. And x-axis numbers in the x-axis. You don't have to write 1 centimeter is 1 day. You don't have, if it's in words, you don't have to mention numbers. For the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers use panna, you must write the scale for the x-axis. Here y-axis is enough. 1 centimeter is 1 hour. Correct? Because time is an hour, sir. So every 1 centimeter is 1 hour. Not 1 hour, 1 centimeter. You should not write like that. 1 centimeter means 1 hour. That order is important. Online children? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, see, here I use a pencil. Yeah. Same double line graph. Now, here you see that actually I drew both for you. I forgot to click the. All right. Avnish. Okay, so here, two children, Tom and how we pronounce that? AVA, 4 tests, test 1, 2, 3, 4, and their marks. Okay. And you can see, do you find 10? No. 20? No. 30? No. 40? No. 50, 60 ல இருந்து ஆரம்பிக்குது. அப்ப எதுக்கு சும்மா நீங்க 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 ல எதுக்கு காமிக்கணும்? அப்போ என்னன்னா மேல இருக்கும் லைன் கிராஃப். அந்த நம்பர்ஸ் தான் மார்க் பண்ணாக்க மேல இருக்கும் லைன் கிராஃப். That's not wrong again. Your teacher will give you marks, but we have something called a kink. This is called a kink. It's called a kink, or it's called a broken line or a jagged line. Jagged. Broken line, jagged line, kink. Okay. So when you're not starting, when you're jumping to values suddenly, then you use the kink. You can use the kink on the x-axis and the y-axis if needed. You should use it wherever it is required. How do we know that it is required? If you're marking in tens, then it is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, it's like that. But since those values, those numbers are not there in the table, you want to start from 50. So you're like jumping from 0 to 50, then you're steady 60, 70, 80, 90. First you're jumping from 0 to 50, then you go steadily 60, 70, 80, 90. So that difference for that. So if you're not showing some numbers in the middle, then you should use this jagged line or the kink. Now, why we are not showing? Because it's not needed. We are not going to plot those points 10, 21, தேவையில்லைங்க. So that you can make it from the numbers here. So x-axis, you should not show the broken line. Not on the x-axis, only y-axis. Now look at this and tell me what doubt you have. I'll just wait for some time. So pencil is AVA and Thomas the blue pen. Tests along the x-axis, scores along y-axis. X-axis no scale, y-axis 1 centimeter is 10 marks, not 50 marks. 50 to 60, what's the difference? 10. 10 marks. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Hasmi and Sahasra, can we go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, go to this one. So here, see the numbers. This one, I think I made 2 graphs. So here also, you don't now, what are the numbers not used? 200, 400, no? Okay, this is okay. You don't have to. If you don't want to write 200 and 400, show the kink and then mark from 600. But it's okay, only 2 numbers are not used. So you can also show. See, too many numbers not used, you should not show. Like, so I think this one I can say too many numbers are not used, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. All those numbers are not used here. So you have to use the king. You should not mark 10, 20, 30, 40. Don't use, right? So show a break, show a king, and then mark 50. Yeah. So here also, if you feel 200, 400 is not used, then why you have shown? Okay, you don't show. You can show a king and mark only from 600. Both are fine. Huh?
The term king is called. They will say thermometer. Thermometer. Manual thermometer. Like,
Okay. So how do you decide the scale? Looking at the numbers here. Don't look at the year 2008. Not these numbers. These numbers will come along the x-axis. Correct? See these numbers. 100, 200, do you think it will be very, very, meaning the numbers 100, 200? Will that be okay? No, I think you can because it starts only from what 600, right? And goes up to 1400. I think you can do that. 600, 700, 800, but 8 divisions. Okay. You can take 100 also, 600, 700. Show king and start marking from 600, 700, 800 should also be good. I have taken 200, 400, 600, 200 units I've taken. All right? Yes. Now you think this we have already discussed. Draw the coordinate axis. You can see the plural form axis and plot these points. So draw the coordinate axes, show the x-axis and the y-axis. And plot the points. You can do this now, right? Not now, meaning you know this.
Yeah.
So the challenge here, okay, like not a difficult thing, but what you need to plan here is how many numbers should I show on the x-axis, y-axis? So you should look at these. See what it looks easy, but it's not. I'll tell you why. Because your graph paper has a restricted size. So you will like very confidently mark you'll put a line in the middle. This is your graph paper. This is your graph paper. You just put, come on, very easy. Plotting points. So easy. All this is a question. Okay, then you'll start up. Then when it is plot 9, 8, you'll be like 9 a paper then. Then you'll rub again. Okay, so ஐயோ 9, 8 plot பண்ணி 8 இங்க இருக்கும். ஏன்னா இங்க இந்த பக்கம் you have space. இங்க 8 போட்டிருப்பீங்க. இங்க 9 இருக்காது. 9, 8 எப்படி plot பண்றது? Then you'll erase. outside the item unde.
That's a next paper. That's a graph paper with that.
That's so it's not, it looks easy, it's not. It needs smart work initially, then it is easy to plot. But அந்த கோஆர்டினேட் ஆக்சிஸ் வரைஞ்சு எதை எந்த நம்பர்ஸ்லாம் காமிக்கணும் எது தேவையில்லைன்றதை டிசைட் பண்ணும். சும்மா அப்படியே ரெண்டு கோடை போட்டு 1 2 3 4 minus 1 2 3 4 எல்லாம் போட்டு யூ ஸ்டார்ட் பிளாட்டிங், தென் யூ ஸ்கிராச் யுவர் ஹெட், ஐயோ 9 இல்லையே, அகைன் யூ ஹேவ் டு ரப். நீங்க அழிச்சு வச்சு பேப்பரே வீக் ஆயிடும், லைன்ஸே போயிடும். Yeah, I want your attention. So look at the numbers. What are the, see the x values first. What are the numbers you see on the x, what are the x coordinates you see? -1, 4, 9. X coordinates, what are the x coordinates you see? -1, 4, 9. First numbers, -1, 4, 9. So x axis la வந்து உங்களுக்கு 9 வரைக்கும் தேவை, இங்க -1 வேணும், அவ்வளவுதான். -2 நீங்க ஒன்னொன்னு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா காமிக்கலாம், ஒரு -2 வரைக்கும் காமிக்கலாம், அங்க 10 வரைக்கும் காமிக்கலாம். But you don't need -3, -4, -5, -6, அதெல்லாம் தேவையில்லை. So don't give space for all that. -1 வரைக்குமே போறோம், but simply -2. 9 வரைக்கும் போறோம், but simply 10. அதுவும் இடம் இருந்தா 10 காமிக்கலாம், இல்லைன்னா 10 வேண்டாம். Not needed. So you need, on the x-axis you need to show from, it's disturbing you. On the x-axis you need to show from -1 to 9. On the y-axis 7, -2, 8. 7 -2, 8. So on the negative side it's only see the y value, 7 -2, 8. 7 -2, 8. So 7, 8. Positive side la 7, 8 வேணும். Negative side la you need only -2. On the negative side, you need only -1, -2. But on the positive side, you need till 8, 7, 8. This planning you have to do first. It looks easy. It is not. If you make your coordinate axis mark and everything, and then you start to plot, you realize your mistake. And you'll waste time. Exam la time poche. Homework அழிச்சு திருப்பி பண்ணிடலாம், இல்லை இன்னொரு கிராஃப் பேப்பர்ல பண்ணலாம். எக்ஸாம்ல டைம் போறது இல்ல. So எப்பவுமே வீட்ல பண்றச்சேவும் you should keep these things in mind. You should make this a habit. Observing the coordinates and deciding what is the restriction. So what I should show on the x-axis, what should I show on the y-axis. அதை பிளான் பண்ணிட்டு தான் நீங்க அதை பிளாட் பண்ணணும். பிளைண்டா பண்ணக்கூடாது. It's very important. Now, the other thing is, what if you have to plot, like -10, -23, then take a scale. You cannot show 23. If it's, and then on this side, if it is like 10, 72, then you need to take a scale. You should, yeah, then you should mark your graph like 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay.
We can mark it like 16.
Mostly 8th standard level, I'm just telling you. So supposing you think I couldn't fit those numbers in the graph paper, then you should have taken a different scale. You can mark on the x-axis 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. On the y-axis, you can take 5, 10, 15, 20. You can take a different scale on the x-axis and y-axis. Depends on the values you have to show. So that planning you have to do. So Navneet, what's the formula to find the length of the diagonal of a rectangle? Length of the diagonal of a rectangle. Rectangle. No, I wanted only from Navneet. Yeah, Navneet. There are 4 naughty boys. No, not 4. 3. Those boys will, like, that's why I laugh, smile, looking at them. What's the formula? Yeah, Aditya, who can tell me? Online children, length of the diagonal of a rectangle is given by the formula. Happy that you don't know. So diagonal is given by, so I don't say any remorse, regret, தெரியலையே அப்படின்ற feeling யார் மூஞ்சிலையும் நான் பார்க்கல. If you laugh, I'm forced to laugh. தெரியலைன்னா யாருக்கும் feeling இல்லை. Celebrating that you don't know. Very bad. No, actually I'm not happy. Okay, fine. No, it's not fine. I have to proceed. Yeah. Now, pressure is directly proportional to temperature when the volume is a constant. So this is more of physics, and I have a commerce background, so I'll not tell you about that. Okay. So pressure is directly proportional to, I'm just reading it. Pressure is directly proportional to temperature when volume is a constant. It's like when speed is a constant, distance covered is directly proportional to the time taken. When speed is a constant, I can only relate it to something in mathematics. I told you, commerce, no physics. So I can understand myself, but I don't want to try explaining. I can understand for myself. Now, like speed is a constant, speed is fixed. When speed does not change, in less time, you cover less distance. More time, more distance. When speed is fixed, when speed is a constant, time and distance are directly proportional. அது மாதிரி தான் இங்க. Pressure is directly proportional to the temperature when volume is a constant. So this table you can see temperature and pressure. So it's a line graph because, sorry, it's a linear graph because directly proportional. When one increases, the other also increases. When one decreases, the other decreases proportionally. So it's a linear graph. When you connect the points, same way, how to make same method, just plot. And why do you get a straight line like this? Because they're directly, the two quantities on the x-axis and y-axis, they're directly proportional. Yeah, just see scale, nothing much here. Same numbers, not same numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, this is incomplete now. Scale na எழுத முடியல. You don't see all that here. So you should write. I shouldn't finish it. Every linear graph is a line graph, but every line graph need not be a linear graph. Now, this one is also a line graph. This is a linear graph. You can also call it a line graph. This one is a linear graph. You can also call it a line graph. But a line graph, which is made up of broken lines, is not a linear graph.
It's not necessary that a line graph would be
Crooked.
crooked.
No, when we call it a line graph, it's expected to be like that. If it is not, then you should call it a linear graph. No? Yeah. Yeah, so I think this is enough what I've shared on coordinate geometry, line, linear graph, scale, and all that. This is sufficient for you to, answer. Okay, sufficient for you to prepare graphs. But what still remains is reading. I have to still make the presentations on them. Reading a line graph, reading that is also, that also needs smart work. It may not always be easy. Reading. So the line graph is given to you, the linear graph is given to you, the bar graph is given to you, the pie chart is given to you. The graph is given to you and you'll have to read and answer. You should observe the graph and answer questions based on the graph. I think in the next few classes, keep the presentation ready and then we'll do that. We'll discuss that. It's not difficult, but it's not easy at the same time. You need to understand the graph to answer. Okay. What's the other topic you have?